The team comes from Baku, where you guys were incredibly strong. Do you see it as another weekend like that, a 2-horse race between you and Checo?
I hope so. I think the car is very quick. But yeah, let's see. I mean, we know in qualifying it's close, but in the race, normally our car is pretty good.
And what about the race? How tough is 57 laps of this place in the heat and the humidity? You all looked like you'd had a good workout after the race last year.
Yeah, it was very tough, very humid. I do feel so far it's maybe a little bit colder. I mean, it's still warm, but yeah, let's see once we sit in the cars. But I expect it to be a tough weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to this weekend to make sure we are competitive and we deliver when it matters. It's a new opportunity for us, so I'm really looking forward to it.
6 points is the gap between you and your teammate Max Verstappen. How will you sustain this title fight through the season?
By winning races, and yeah, pretty simple. It's just by winning races and keeping Max under pressure.
Hopefully it's a good one. Obviously we need to answer some questions. I think in Baku we underperformed a little bit in qualifying, especially. We were not as fast as the first 3 races, so we really want to see if here in Miami we can go back to our more normal position. If not, it means that maybe, Ferrari or Mercedes, they brought new parts to the car in the last few events that maybe they are a little bit ahead of us, but we will give it all in the race, and especially on Sundays our car seems quite good on tire deck. Here is going to be important, so I'm quite confident.
People are really excited because there's a real great sporting culture here in Miami, and I'm just can't wait to get in the car. Really hopeful that we are where we as close as we were in Melbourne, for example. That would be incredible. I'm hoping, we do have long straights here as well, but I'm hoping our car performs a bit better here. Last year we were bouncing a lot, but this year we don't have that. So hopefully the car will be more predictable, more enjoyable to drive, and get to see this track in a different field of view. Because last year it was just like blur.
Glad to put that Baku weekend behind you and come to a circuit that we were very strong at last year.
Yeah, exactly. Happy to put it behind, mainly because it was a tough weekend, and I've already taken my conclusions, my analysis, and turned the page. Even when it's a good result, you need to be quick at turning the page. Also when it's a bad result, not a bad weekend, because it was P5, no, but a tough weekend, you also need to put it behind. So happy to be here and ready to bounce back in Miami.
Focusing on step by step on what are the areas that we need to work on in order to be in the fight as quickly as possible. That's all that matters to me. It's and to the team too, is to be fighting for win as quickly as possible. And yeah, I mean, obviously at the beginning of the year we expected more, but at the end is the way it is, and now we need to focus on the future and yeah, be as quickly as possible, improving the car to come back to fighting in the front.
Last year for all of us, it was one of the toughest races of the season, but I think it's exciting when it's difficult. Nobody wants an easy ride, and gives you an opportunity to do something better than the rest. But it's for sure, when you're sat in that car for almost 2 hours, you're sweating it out.
Look, tell us about that car. 2 races ago you qualified on the front row in Australia. Last weekend in Baku you were out in Q2. Can you explain that to people who don't understand?
It's fine margins. I think we missed out on Q3 by 4 milliseconds, and that would have been a totally different story had we got into Q3, and probably could have qualified inside the top 6, but clearly our car isn't quick enough. We need to continue to do a better job, and we'll go again this weekend. Hopefully it'll be a slightly smoother weekend and we can battle out with Aston and Ferrari.
Baku was one of our more difficult tracks, like just coming into the weekend looking at the layout of the track, a lot of long straights, and we haven't been particularly competitive on the longer straights, and coming here it looks like on paper it could be a little bit better for us, but we'll wait and see.
I guess we're playing a little bit of catch up from where we should have been, honestly. I think we have a good, let's say, baseline to really work from now, more confidence to be able to work from where we are. But we've not had a bad year. I know people keep saying we've had a bad year and such a terrible start, and I guess we have, if we want to say we want to win races and so on. But we should have scored points in the first race of the season. We potentially could have scored them in the second. We just got unlucky with the damage and things like that. And then we've had a good race in Australia and a better race in Baku. So nothing's bad. I think we're just in that middle spot at the minute, and it's close between us, Alpine, Alpha Tauri, Haas at times, Alfa Romeo. You know, everyone is there or thereabouts. So it's just a close battle. One day will look a bit better, and the next day will look a little bit worse. But it's enjoyable.
Baku was a tricky weekend for us for different reasons. I do believe that here this track should suit us, or is going to suit us better. So yeah, I think as everyone knows, the midfield is very tight. You know, you've got to pull it all together, make no mistakes. But I believe that if we can all get it together, that we can be in the points on Sunday.
Kind of a track of a lot of different zones, I guess. Like the first sector is quite fast and flowing. And then coming onto the back straight, it's very tight and twisty. So yeah, a lot of different corner types, which will test out everyone's cars, I guess. But no, looks exciting.
Last year it was good for our car, so I hope that reflects to this year. So it is so hard to predict. Also, the tarmac has been resurfaced, so also the grip level is unknown. So let's see, but we need some points.
You know, we try and focus on the positive that we had, which is that, you know, the updates that we had were working. We didn't use it the proper way and the way it should have been. You know, doing only 3 laps in FP1 and, you know, just fixing the setup from there on has been very tricky, you know, for us. So, you know, we didn't use the car the proper way. We didn't optimize it, and we couldn't really see the performance of the car. But, you know, we have 3 sessions here to turn things around, bounce back, and that's what we're looking to do.
I'm feeling good. You know, we need to look forward and bounce back after a tricky weekend in Baku. Obviously, we were all disappointed with the performance we displayed, but yeah, you need to stick together, look forward, learn from the mistakes we did, and yeah, just deliver a better performance here in Miami, and we're ready for it.
You know, we are not exactly where we want to be as a team, and let's say Australia, we got a bit lucky with all the red flags, staying out of the trouble. But in general, you know, people bring updates and seems to be working like in a bigger range compared to us. And yeah, Baku obviously also here we have the basically same car, and we have to kind of just making sure that we can get over all the issues we had in Baku. And clearly it wasn't a, you know, competitive enough weekend for us, and we do struggle a lot, especially in the race. You know, just to the guys who are racing normally, like the Haas Williams, they seem to be pick up some decent pace through Baku, which we didn't. So, but here's a completely different layout of the track, so it's another story. But yeah, we need to keep pushing and keep working and bring more upgrades.
What I done last week is great, and we're happy with my performance and also to the team. But yeah, I mean, last week is last week, this week is this week. It's a completely different track. Yeah, I mean, lots of things can I expect here. So obviously I have to be prepared as much as Azerbaijan. But I feel obviously optimistic, always, and yeah, feeling ready.
I would say that this is a track that you would say doesn't suit us as much. I would have always told you that Baku, Melbourne is a bit more in our favour, but Miami, it's got these kind of long corners to them, which don't always work, especially Sector 1 didn't suit us that much last year. So the car's much better this year. Hopefully it's going to be better through that section. But let's see, you know, it was actually the most points I scored was this weekend last year, so P9. So let's see if we can repeat that.
It's a US race, it's our home race, and you know, American team, quite a few American sponsors, and of course those get activated in those weekends in the US. But really looking forward to it. I think it's one of those where you hope it goes well, because it would be great in front of our home crowd, and also, you know, for our sponsors to have a good result.
It's nice to be back in my well-known climate, which is extremely hot, but it's going to be a tough weekend. Not knowing the track, it's a big hurdle to climb, but yeah, I'm excited.
You're a Fort Lauderdale boy, just down the road from here. So did you come and watch the Dolphins when you were young, or was it all Homestead for you?
I've watched endless games in the stadium. So to be able to race around it, to have the hospitalities set up inside the stadium is pretty cool. I was just here Christmas watching a game. And yeah, now here we are, first home Grand Prix. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think there's still good positives to take away from the Baku weekend, because the pace was really good and we made good progress as a team, and we started the weekend very competitively on the Friday. So yeah, I mean, these things happen. You just gotta move on. We arrived here early, so we kind of started our preparation on Tuesday, and it's a very exciting event. So happy to be here, and looking forward to see what we can do this weekend.